Amid the growing controversy over Pete Hegseth's nomination as defense secretary, the Wall Street Journal and The Bulwark are reporting that President-elect Trump is weighing whether to replace him with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Both outlets cite people familiar with the discussions. NBC News has not independently confirmed the reporting, but this comes amid increasing concerns from some Republican lawmakers over the mounting allegations concerning Hegseth's personal life. People close to the president-elect's team tell the Journal Trump allies believe Hegseth's nomination may not survive further scrutiny. As the paper notes, picking DeSantis would amount to a stunning turn for Trump, but in DeSantis, Trump has a well-known conservative with both military and executive experience who shares Trump's and Hegseth's view on eliminating the so-called woke policies from the armed forces. Joining us now, the reporter who broke the story from The Bulwark, Mark Caputo. Mark, what more can you tell us? Is this imminent? Are there any other catches that could hold this up?
Well, I was told it was a really serious conversation they've been having, and they've been having it for a while. And it's not Donald Trump's people talking to Ron DeSantis' people. It's Donald Trump talking to Ron DeSantis about it. I got to say, having covered both of these guys, having covered the Republican primary, it's really kind of hard to see this happening. But I've been assured, and was reporting it out yesterday, that no, this could really happen. It's not just that Pete Hegseth has these problems. It's that Donald Trump is serious, not just about getting the woke out of the military, is that he believes that there's a certain amount of bloat, and understandably so, and perhaps a certain amount of fat that needs to be cut from the Pentagon budget. And you're going to need someone who is able to do that and withstand the political pressure. And there's one thing, whether you dislike Ron DeSantis or you like Ron DeSantis, that most people agree on, is that DeSantis is very stubborn, and when he sets his mind to doing something, he does it, and he doesn't care about who howls. So if, and it's still an if, and perhaps a big if, Ron DeSantis is appointed to be the DOD secretary, the defense secretary, yeah, he's going to pursue these social policies, but there is a strong possibility, I'm being told, that he'll actually try to really cut some of that Pentagon budget, which has a lot of profligate spending in it.
You know, Jonathan Lemire, you've reported on Donald Trump for a very long time, and understand. These stories started coming out about his about Hegseth's drinking problems, and we've heard it over and over again. And in fact, we had heard, there's an NBC report talking about how numerous people inside of Fox News say that he still has a drinking problem. He still shows up drunk. He still shows up smelling of alcohol. We had actually heard that from, our team had heard that from a source inside of Fox News, a reliable source inside of Fox News last week. That, they're saying you don't have to talk about 2018. This is still happening. And that was a real concern that people inside the Trump transition had also been hearing. So I'd heard last week, and I know you had too, from my sources inside the Senate, that the Republicans were already going south on this guy last week. Then his mother's letter hit this weekend. That actually lined up with what we've heard from so many of these accusations about his behavior and his drunkenness when he was running the two vets organizations. Now the Fox News story has come out. But again, the Fox News story that NBC's reporting is no shock to the Trump transition team. They were already hearing it from inside Fox himself. So given what Donald Trump's always said about alcohol, about his brother, about the lack of discipline. He even's written about it. Hard to see how Pete Hegseth gets through this, and hard to see, especially when Lindsey Graham is saying there are a lot of concerns. One Senate insider laughingly told me, Lindsey's a lagging indicator. This was done some time ago. Talk about it.
Yeah, a few things here. First, that NBC News story that suggests that Hegseth would show up on set at Fox smelling of alcohol. One of the reporters behind that story, Courtney Kuby, joining us in a few minutes. But first of all, you're right to underline Donald Trump's distaste for alcohol. He has said repeatedly he has never drank in his life. He blames it for the death of his brother, someone he cared about deeply. He also judges harshly people who he thinks drink too much. Let's remember, Rudy Giuliani lost a cabinet post after the 2016 election, in part because Trump saw him drinking too much. So these reports are not going to help Hegseth's case. Now, Hegseth himself, yes, Joe, I heard from Republicans yesterday as well, even as Hegseth's been making the rounds on Capitol Hill, that his nomination is in deep danger. There could be up to 6 or more Republican senators, and you only need 4, who are ready to sink his nomination, including Lindsey Graham, who normally goes along with whatever Trump wants. Hegseth appearing on Fox later today for an interview, which is a sense maybe a last-ditch effort to save that nomination. But he's got an uphill climb. And Willie, if it ends up being Governor DeSantis, certainly this is a one-time rival of Trump's. But just like Marco Rubio, a one-time Florida politician, rival of Trump, Trump has improved relations with DeSantis, at least somewhat. And I'm already told this morning, Republicans say like DeSantis would clear through the Republican Senate. He's got relationships on the Hill from his time in Congress. He was already been sort of publicly vetted for his runs for governor, as well as, of course, his ill-fated presidential bid. And he does not appear to have the baggage that Hegseth does.
And then opening another big position in the state of Florida. If that happens, you have the Senate with Marco Rubio. You've got the governor's office with potentially now Ron DeSantis as well. Let's get